everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial for the new Space Marines. And today we are painting the company heroes. Yes, here they are. An absolutely stunning set of Space Marines. They're fantastic, they really are. I think they might be the best Space Marines they've ever made. And we're going to be painting them up today. And of course, when we refer today, we are talking about Games Workshop, who've sent me these early to build up and paint for you, and that is exactly what we are going to be doing. So today, we're not going to be painting them as Blood Angels. No, I want to paint some Ultramarines because I haven't for a while. And well, I'm going to paint these guys up as Ultramarines. And they've all been primed in Grey Seer. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick out all of the kind of generic details first. And then once they're all done, we're going to do the specific things. So things like the banner, for example. So what we're going to do first is we're going to work on the captain mostly, because a lot of what we do on him will be translatable across all of them, but we will pick out the other things as they come up. So the colour we're going to be using first is Asurmen Blue. And we're going to be applying this over the top of all of our Space Marines armour. Now you can, if you want to, at this point, apply this over the top of the flag as well, but you don't have to. You can do that, like I said, much later on in the process. So we're just going to do what we always do. We're just going to take this a section at a time. Use nice big broad brush strokes. Watch out for pools. Stick towards the tip of your brush when applying this, and just go nice and steady with the Asurmen Blue. And don't worry about getting this on anywhere where you don't want the blue, like the cloak. So you can always just correct that with some Grey Seer afterwards. So with all of that Asurmen Blue applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Ultramarines Blue and Contrast Medium. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of that blue. So with that all done, you should now have a wonderful blue armour across all of your company heroes. Don't worry, we will update you on the rest of them as we go. But what we're going to do is we're just going to once again keep doing some of those generic colours. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over the top of the soft details in all the armour. So all the joints and things. For example, in the armpits and the elbows and the backs of the legs. For example, just like that. What we're also going to do is we're going to use this Black Legion to paint in the casings on any of the weapons. So with that Black Legion all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Baal Red, and on these two, so they're the only ones with cloaks, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this to the outside of said cloaks. So with that Baal Red all applied, there are going to be some other red details, but we'll get to them a little bit later. But what we are going to do is we are now going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we are going to apply this over the top of our Baal Red areas. So just going to negotiate the brush under there, and then we're just going to start applying this over the top. So with that done, it might seem a little bit early in proceedings, but what we're going to do is we're going to now take some Retributor Armour. I'm going to use this to paint in all of our gold details, of which there are many. And this is because we've got various things like the ropes and things like that. For example, this one across here, which do need to be a different colour, but they are in kind of varying degrees of difficult to get to. So if we do all of the gold now, we can always tidy up the gold rather than having to tidy up contrast paints, which is just a little bit easier. So, because we are Ultramarines, we're going to be applying this all over the top of the Aquila, over the top of any decoration. We're going to be going over the trim on the shoulder pads. There's a lot of gold, so I'd recommend having your box art on standby to just figure out where to place it all. So with all that gold applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Skeleton Horde. We're going to apply this over the top of all of the parchment and over the top of any tabards or the internals of the cloaks. I'm just going to start up here. Like so. And then apply this over the cloaks. It doesn't matter if you get this over the top of the Retributor Armour, and just add a nice little bit of shading. So with that all done, we're then going to take some Gore-Grunta Fur. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the leather details. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Volupus Pink and we're going to apply this over the top of all of the wax seals. With that Volupus Pink all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Blood Angels Red and we're going to apply this over a couple of different places, as we've already talked about. Firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of any of the ropes. Like so. We're going to apply this over the top of any soft grips on the swords, for example. And we're also, on our captain here, going to apply the Blood Angels Red over the top of his scabbard, which we've already done with some Gore-Grunta Fur, but we want this to be a really, really deep, dark, reddy brown. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over pretty much all of the remaining details, excluding these veterans badges here on the shoulders. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this Iron Warriors, we'll start applying it over areas such as the swords, mechanical areas on the guns and backpacks, little bits of trim on the belts, places like that. As well as the little kind of mechanical areas on the helmets. With all of our silver applied, we're now going to pop over to this guy and take some Dark Angels Green and apply this over the power cable. Sticking with this guy just for the moment, we're going to take some Apothecary White and we're going to apply this over the top of those veteran badges on the shoulders. Back to the captain just for the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Imperial Fist here and we're going to draw a little kind of column going down the middle of the tilting shield. And with that Imperial Fist applied, we're then going to take some Macragge Blue. I'm going to use this to colour in the rest of the shield. So, with that done, we've got all of our base coats on our company heroes. The only thing we haven't done yet, of course, is that banner, but we will get to it, I promise. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to add some shades to take these up to a mostly War Hipster Battle Ready standard, and we're going to do this by taking some Reikland Fleshshade first. I'm going to use this to shade all of the gold. So I'm going to start here on our captain as we've continued on for most of this video. I'm just going to apply this all over the gold. Now, what you can also do here, if you want to, you don't have to of course, is you can use this to add a little bit more colour into the leather. It won't have a massive effect on it, but we'll just add a little bit more warmth. As you can see there. So with all that Reikland Fleshshade applied, what we're then going to do is take some Nuln Oil. And we're going to use this to shade all of the black and all of the silver. So with that done, our company heroes are pretty much at a War Hipster Battle Ready standard. Here is the captain, here is the banner, excluding the banner, and we have our 3 others. Lovely stuff. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to get that flag up to War Hipster Battle Ready standard as well. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take some thinned down Macragge Blue, and we're going to use this to paint in pretty much all of the fabric of the actual flag itself. And the reason we're doing this rather than using Ultramarines Blue and Asurmen Blue is that because of the kind of size of this flag, it's just going to be a little bit easier to do things this way by just taking probably 2 thin coats and applying this all over like this. We just want to avoid making this more difficult for ourselves than we have to, because there's not kind of loads of crevices and recesses and things like that, because it's quite flat all over. We almost don't need that contrasting effect here, but don't worry. There's still plenty of contrast painting yet to come. So with that Macragge Blue applied, we're then going to take some black Templar and we're going to apply this over the top of the kind of outer trim down here. like that. We're going to apply this over the kind of the ring section. Around here on the flag as well. Excluding, of course, that laurel. So with that black Templar applied, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde. And we're going to apply this over the top of this kind of shield-like device down here. All of the parchment and nameplates and things like that. Just like this. So with that now done, we're going to take some Ork Flesh. I'm going to apply this over the top of the laurels. With that Ork Flesh applied, we're then going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this down here on the middle chevron and on the square surrounding the skull. So with that done, we're then going to take some Black Legion. And I'm going to apply this over top of the bottom chevron just here. Like so. We're also going to apply this over the top chevron. Like that. And then on the bit just above, what we're going to do is we're going to take a small amount of Black Legion. I'm going to put a dot at the top in the middle and at the bottom in the middle. Then we're going to put a dot here on the left and a dot there on the right. Then we're going to draw a line going across and a line going down like so, and then we're going to colour in the bottom left square and the top right square. So with that done, what we're then going to do is take some Volupus Pink. I'm going to apply this over the top of those Purity Seal wax seals once again. That Volupus Pink applied, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. I'm going to apply this to the crossbar up here because I forgot to do it when we did the rest of the silver. So with that now done, we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. I'm going to use this to paint in the trim around the field of the banner, like this, as well as the little skull icons on the crossbar. So with that done, it's now time to add some shades. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil first of all, and we're going to apply this over the top of the bits that are still white. So we've got this little section here, we've got the skull there. We're also going to apply this over the top of the red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the black as well. So we'll apply that like that. What we're also going to do is we're going to apply this over the top of the blue. We want to just bring that colour down and add kind of a bit of subtle shading to it. So we don't want to use tons of paint at once here. You want to be really careful, because the instinct is going to be to use quite a lot to get through it quickly. However, if you use too much, it'll end up all collecting at the bottom of the flag, especially on the back, and it won't look very nice. We're just going to be really careful here. I'm going to pick out all those white details. Bring this around. Just like this. And of course, we're also going to shade the silver of the crossbar, just like we did on the rest of the model. And finally, as you might have guessed, we're going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. I'm going to use this to shade the gold. So with that done, the banner is now at War Hipster Battle Ready, but in order to make the whole set of models at War Hipster Battle Ready, there's one thing I've forgotten to do, which is to take some Blood Angels Red and apply this over the eye lenses. So with that done, our company heroes are now officially at what I would call a War Hipster battle ready. And they all look wonderful. But we're not going to leave them there. Of course we're not. We're going to take them to the next level. We're going to do this by adding some highlights. Now again, we're just going to mostly focus on this guy and the banner. We'll pick out any kind of individual details as they come up. But as you've probably already realized by now, there isn't, whilst it looks like a really complicated kit, there isn't too much in the way of kind of lots of diverse detail. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by highlighting all of the blue armor. The color we're going to be using first for this is some thinned down Calgar Blue. And we're just going to start picking out all of the edges. Just like this. Now you can also use this to highlight the banner, because it's done now. You just want to go around highlighting all the blue, just like this. With that Calgar Blue all applied, as you can see, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Fenrisian Grey. I'm going to use this to pick out the sharpest corners in all the blue. There's a little spot highlight. So with that Fenrisian Grey all applied, all of the blue is now finished. So what we're going to do is we're now going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the black. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Corax White. I'm going to use this to highlight those veterans badges on the shoulders. So with those white details highlighted, we're then going to take some Fulgrim Pink. I'm going to use this to highlight our pink details. So with that Fulgrim Pink applied, what we're now going to do is take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to add some little highlights to the red details, including our capes and our eye lenses. Just like this. It's quite subtle work. There aren't that many kind of really hard edges here. So with all that Evil Sunz Scarlet applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Fire Dragon Bright. I'm going to use this to add a little kind of hint of a spot highlight to our red details. Just where we want the light to really catch. Just like that. So with all of that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our bone and parchment coloured areas. However, specifically on the captain here, what we're also going to do, we're going to use this to pick out the little rivet, the top edge, and the underside of our yellow, like that. So with that all done, we're now going to work on probably the biggest area aside from the blue, and that's all of the gold. And the colour we're going to be using to highlight all of this is some thinned down Liberator Gold. Now I find when you're doing something as kind of detailed as these guys, just starting from the bottom and making your way all the way up so as not to forget any details is the best way to tackle it. Or you can start from the top and make your way down. But just take your time. Steadily highlighting as you go. So with all of the gold applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Leadbelcher, and we're going to use this to effectively relayer our power swords before we do any highlights on all the silver. So what we're looking to do here is we're looking to apply the Leadbelcher over the top of the flat sections of the sword blades, like that sort of thing. We're going to avoid any of the recesses. So we've got this text here, for example. So with that Leadbelcher all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker, and we're going to use this to highlight all of the silver details across all of our men. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to once again take some Blood Angels Red. I'm going to use this to paint in any gems. So we've got this large one here on the belt. We've got a couple of eye lenses. And things like that. And there we go. There's that one. Then, for example, on our heavy bolter, we've got a little sighter lens just there, like that. I think that's all of them on there. On this individual, we've got the sight, like that. We've got a little gem here on the belt as well. And then there's a couple more sights down here. Just like that. This guy's clear. We've got one laser sight on this one as well. With that Blood Angels Red applied, we're now going to take some Administratum Grey. I'm going to use this to highlight our black Templar areas on the banner. So with that done, there is just one last thing left to do on our company heroes, and that is to take some Cygor Brown. And we're going to add some text over all of our parchment. So we're just going to start up here on the banner itself, and we're going to paint in the Ultramarines. So we're just going to very carefully start writing So with their bases complete, our company heroes are now finished. I've added some decals as well, just because you really want to finish off that banner by putting that Ultima in the middle. But I think they're absolutely fantastic. There's not much more one can say about these company heroes, except for I do believe these are the best looking Space Marines they've made since 8th edition, and well, long may it continue, of course. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support me a little bit further, you absolutely can do. Head over to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And you can also become a YouTube channel member, just like this incredible bunch of folks scrolling up on the screen before you. There's a hell of a lot of you, and well, I can't do this without you. YouTube and Patreon, you guys absolutely keep the lights on and make all of this worth it. Thank you so much to all of you for everything you do. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.